So Sahaja Yoga is a spontaneous moment wherein the dormant energy, the reflection of this all-pervading divine energy in us, in the triangular bone, in our sacrum bone is the first structure in the Kundalini chart. It will come out and then touch spontaneously the Sahasrara, the last fontanel bone area, and wherein it breaks open this knot, and then we get merged with this whole energy of the universe, which in turn comes in and nourishes all our energy centers. And also, there are three sides of it, which we call it as Nadi: past, future, and then the present. So, there would be a beautiful explanation from the founder of Saj Yoga, that is Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, whom you see in the picture on the Zoom on the to the left of my window. And she will be explaining the whole thing in detail. I'll be playing that video, and after this, we will go through the experience of self-realization. Then we will have a question and answer session if you would like to. Otherwise, you would go for more, furthermore meditation with relaxed music. Okay, thank you so much, and stay put. And I'm going to play the explanation of Saj Yoga by our founder Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. Thank you so much. Please stay put.
This is the advancement of a tree which has grown outside very much. But if we do not know our roots, we will be destroyed. So it is important to know about our roots. And this is what it is that I would say are our roots. As you can see, there are 7 centers within us. And these subtle centers are placed in the spinal cord and in the brain. These cater to our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. On the physical side, they manifest the energy for the use of our plexuses, which look after our physical problems. That is on the right side. The energy which is supplied by this yellow line, a subtle channel, we call it as the Pingala Nadi. This supplies energy for our physical and mental actions. So this is the power of action within us, which also caters to the right sympathetic nervous system. The another channel you see on the left hand side is the channel by which we desire, put our energy to our desire. So this is the power of desire and looks after our emotions. This is the one which looks after our conditionings also. At the end of these 2 channels, they create 2 institutions. One on the right side crosses over, and the yellow balloon that you see is the ego, is the balloon of ego that we have. And the left-hand side one, which conditions our mind, is the balloon of superego. As we start growing in age, by the time we are 12 years of age, these 2 completely meet and the soft bone in our head becomes completely calcified. Now there's third energy within us, which is in the center. And this central energy is the one which has made us human beings. And these centers are the milestones of our evolution. So now the last jumping is left out. It has reached up to the limbic area. Now, only thing is it has to break through the soft bone on the head and break through that, which is the actualization of baptism. Baptism is not an artificial thing. It is an actualization. But the energy that does it is, we call it sleeping energy, in the triangular bone called as sacrum. That means the Greeks knew that this is a sacred bone, that they called it sacrum. This energy has to rise and break through that fontanelle bone area and connect us to that subtle divine power which we have never felt during human awareness. Thus, we get connected to this divine power and we start feeling it on our fingertips. It is described in the Quran that at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak and they will give witness against you. That is, you start feeling your own centers. These are 5, 6, and 7 centers, and they indicate what's wrong with you within yourself. What's the problem? Also, you can feel the cool breeze coming out of your head. Cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. Because this sleeping power, which is called as the Kundalini, Kundala means coils, is the
Now we had seen a short clip on the subtle system and the whole technique of Sahaja Yoga and Kundalini and the subtle system and all from Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. Now she'll be giving the experience. It's called self-realization. That means when the Kundalini touches our heart and then our frontal bone area, then we get this so-called baptism, what she just explained, that we become aware of ourselves and we can feel ourselves on our fingertips, nerves in the form of a cool wind. And this is what is going to be the experience now in the next video clip. And I'll be playing this also short clip. After then, we'll come back again to discuss about questions and answers.
Now, put your left hand towards me, comfortably. Put your feet apart from each other. And now, put your right hand on your heart and close your eyes. Here you have to ask me a very important question. In your heart, you ask me a question as you would ask a computer. You can call me Sri Mataji or Mother, whatever you like. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question. In your heart, not loudly. 3 times, ask in your heart, not loudly. Mother, am I the spirit? You have to only ask in your heart. If you are the spirit, you become your own guide, you become your own master, you become your own guru. So now take down your right hand into the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. And here you have to ask another question 3 times, not loudly, in your heart. Mother, am I the spirit? Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Am I my own master? I have told you that I respect your freedom, and the pure knowledge cannot be forced on you. So please take your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen and say it 6 times, asking me, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. I cannot force on you. You have to ask in your free will. As soon as you ask for the pure knowledge, the Kundalini starts moving upward. So now we have to nourish the higher centers with our self-confidence. Raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen. Press it hard on the left hand side. And here with full confidence you have to say 10 times in your heart, not loudly. Mother, I am my own master. Please say this 10 times. Mother, I am my own master. I told you at the very outset that the greatest truth about you is that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not these conditionings, emotions, nor this ego, but you are the spirit, you are the pure spirit. So now raise your right hand onto your heart and ask here, or say with full confidence 12 times, Mother, I am the spirit. Just say it without any hesitation. Say it 12 times, please. For your information, you have to know that the divine power is the source of knowledge, is the ocean of knowledge, is the ocean of love. It is the ocean of peace and ocean of bliss. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. So you cannot commit any mistake which cannot be dissolved by the power of this ocean of forgiveness. So please raise your right hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder. Push it back as much as possible and turn your head to your right. And with full confidence, please say 16 times. Full confidence in your heart. Mother, I am not guilty at all. All right? As I told you before, that you have to forgive everyone. And those who say it is difficult, they must know that it is a myth whether you forgive or don't forgive. But if you don't forgive, then you play into the wrong hands and get yourself tortured by yourself. So please forgive. In general, everyone, not counting how many people you have to forgive, what you have to forgive, but just say, by raising your hand and putting it on top of your forehead across, putting down your head as much as possible, resting on your hand. Please say, with an open heart, please say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please say it. Please say, otherwise it is difficult later on for me. I have to clear out everybody's agya and it takes too much time then. So best is to say it from your heart. After all, you're not going to miss your self-realization for that. Now, take back your right hand on the back side of your head and put your head on it, resting on it, upward. Here you have to say for your own satisfaction, O Divine, if I have done any mistakes, please forgive me. But don't feel guilty. Don't count your mistakes. Don't think about them. In general, you have to say, O Divine, please forgive me if I have done any mistakes or anything wrong, anything against you. Now, stretch your palm. Stretch your palm and put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Now, put down your head properly. And here, push back your fingers as far as possible. Please push back. This is very important. And now put a pressure on your scalp and move your scalp slowly 7 times clockwise. Here again, I respect your freedom. And I cannot force self-realization on you. So here you have to say 7 times, bending your head properly and pressing it hard, moving 7 times. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Please ask 7 times, please. Tomorrow to see me. I'll take
I love him.
Glaucomia. Oh,
Just now we heard from Shimadaji about this realization, the subtle system before, and then we experienced the realization. Now I would like to quickly play a video which tells about the clearance of the subtle system at home. For example, when you are at home, we can do one process called foot soaking, wherein we can put both the feet in the water. I'll play that video just for your idea. Then it will come again on the screen.
You have already seen that you can take a foot soak for meditation. Foot soaking is a basic method to balance your inner system. To cool down your right side, use cold water for your foot soak. You need a towel, a jug full of fresh water, a handful of salt, and a bowl. This bowl should be used for foot soaking only. The temperature of the water should always be pleasing. Make sure you have prepared the towel and the jug full of water beforehand. Add a handful of salt. It represents the earth element and therefore has a cleansing effect on the lower energy centers. Now, you can raise your Kundalini and take abandon. A foot soak is done best at night, before going to bed. You will find that your quality of sleep is enhanced and your meditations are deeper. Sit comfortably with your hands toward the lit candle, palms upwards. Meditate while soaking your feet for 10 to 15 minutes. Do not close your eyes, otherwise the foot soak loses its cleansing effect. To finish the foot soak, raise your Kundalini and take abandon. This protects your subtle body and preserves the state of meditation. Rinse and dry your feet. Then flush the water down the toilet and wash your hands. To take a foot soak is a very good preparation for meditation. Actually, if you do it regularly, like brushing your teeth, it'll be most effectful.
So that was about foot soaking. And now we have one special topic today. That's about the security that comes from within and with the faith, of course, absolute faith. So we'll be playing that video also now. Then we will end the session with light music. And as I understand there is no question and answer, we will proceed with the next part. Thank you so much. Please stay.
The chakra of the goddess lies behind the sternum bone in the spinal cord. This chakra is placed above the Bhavasagar, above the void, as we call it in Sahaja. And the bridge that has to be crossed by the bhaktas, by the seekers, is guarded by her. She is the one, she helps her children to come through that passage when there are negative forces trying to attack on a seeker. This chakra is placed at the back of the sternum bone, as I told you. In childhood, the antibodies are formed in the sternum bone. They are the warriors or the Sainikas of the day. Until the age of 12 years, they grow and multiply, and ultimately they all get distributed all over the body. And a human being is made able to face any outside invasion on him. These antibodies know how to fight. They are extremely confident and they know who are their enemies. They have all these messages built in themselves. So when the anti-God element enters into the being through any process, say through food, through words, through action, through devilish people, or black magic, these antibodies combine together, collectively fight the invaders. Those who do not have their central heart properly developed suffer from tremendous insecurity all their lives. When they are children, you try to control them by frightening. These children later on become extremely insecure. They are afraid of darkness, they are afraid of night, some of them are afraid of everything. Because the antibodies that are built in the body are not sufficient in number. And being this center so big, the person feels extremely insecure. Later on in life, when the child goes to the school or he tries to work, out something for the future, then also his confidence can be shaken by parents, teachers and outside people. So it is very important to understand children who are grown. In the West, they analyze everything and try to put human beings into compartments. First, the child is a child according to them. Child has no innocence and is extremely selfish. Second part is adolescence, which they think is a very arbitrary, moody stuff. In India, we do not know that there is something like adolescence. Now these adolescent people form a group and they start criticizing or making fun of all the elders. At a very young age it starts. First they make fun of the teachers, then of the parents, then of all the people who are senior to them. they start becoming extremely active in their brains because they see too many televisions and things like that. And then they start behaving at a very young age in such a violent ways that one cannot imagine. I used to live about 25 miles away from London. And every time I would go to London, I would find some children doing some sort of a mischief somewhere. But one day some of them entered into my compartment. And they started pulling out all the covers, thrusting their knives into the seats, opening out all the upholstery. I was just sitting and watching. So I said, "Now are you tired? Please sit down. What's the problem?" They said, "We are all very angry." I said, "For what? Why are you angry?" I said, "We are just angry." I said, "But you have to be angry for something." They were children going to good schools, definitely wearing very good clothes. And then I had to, when the train stopped, I called the ticket collector and told him that these boys have been doing all this hooliganism in the compartment and you better look at it. And he came in and he said, "This is a common thing." And then somehow or other he took them out. But the only thing I felt about them is that all of them had their center heart catching. On the Kundalini, they are catching their center heart. But when they saw me, they sat down. They were quiet. They listened to me. I settled their center heart. And most of them said, "We are angry with our mother." Why? Because our brothers are angry. But why your brothers are angry? Then I discovered that Freud has given these funny ideas against the mother. Mother itself, can you imagine? What an anti-God activity it is. To an India, mother is the primal thing. Any Indian. Because his sense of security lies in the mother. Even if the father is hot-tempered, is angry, still they depend on the mother. Because mother knows when to get angry and when not to get angry. She has the discrimination. And she is the one who protects them. The idea of mother is completely blasted in the West, and this is the reason why the children of that country feel so insecure, and when they grow they are extremely insecure. You won't believe that all the time they are polishing their brass, cleaning their house, but not even a rat enters their houses. And if they have to talk to someone, they'll make a person stand outside and talk from inside, especially in London. Because they're literally frightened. Nobody will believe the British who ruled us are such frightened people. But they are. They are frightened of each other, they are frightened of themselves. The reason is the center heart is absolutely weak. I've told you the first reason, the family insecurities. The child does not know when he comes back from school whether his mother would be there or she would be gone. They don't have mothers who can bear a lot from the husbands and smile and show no signs of their agony to their children. But the mothers in that country I've seen always try to use their children from all kinds of emotional blackmail, you can call it. They try to torture the child by telling all the things the husband is doing to them and whatever is the problem they are facing with the husband. So the child is not secured by the mother, but on the contrary, child starts giving security to mother then. At a very young age it starts, and the child becomes extremely negative and left-sided. He feels that he is born in a place full of hatred, insecurity and fear. When a person is frightened, this center starts breathing fast, giving rhythmic instructions to all the antibodies. With that, you feel you are getting a palpitation in the heart. This palpitation is nothing but a signal to all the antibodies to fight the emergency of an attack. But when somebody builds up insecurity later on in life, it becomes a physical problem. If they have insecurities earlier, it is an emotional problem. But later on in life, when one develops a insecurity, any kind, like a wife is insecure about her husband. Husband is a loafer or a bad man and carrying on with other women. So that motherhood of the wife is challenged. And when her motherhood is challenged, she may get the weakening of the center, by which she may suffer quite a lot and may have even breast cancer. These insecurities can be also self-made. Imagine, people can just think about it and build up some sort of insecurities which are of no actual existence. But such fears are very much more in the West, because the life in the West has no mooring, has no explanation. Whatever you ask them, they'll say, what's wrong? The husband will say, what's wrong in having a keep? And the wife will also say, all right, if he wants to have a keep, let him have it. In India, no woman would tolerate such a situation. She would starve, she would do everything, but she will never touch a man who has a keep. So the basis of the strength of Indian women is their sense of chastity. The sense of chastity in the Indian women is so great that nothing can deter them as long as they are chaste. But if they are not chaste, then fear settles in them very fast. Chastity is the strength of women. And that's why those women who have fear mostly have a problem of their chastity being challenged. A woman who is frightened that her chastity may be disturbed also can develop a problem with the heart chakra. Such women can develop breast cancers, breathing troubles, and other kind of frightening diseases on the emotional level also. This chakra is ruined in women when they lose their only child, because their motherhood is finished, they feel. And that is the worst thing that can happen to a woman, if she is a woman. But if she is not a woman, she doesn't feel much, and she just behaves in a very manly way And that's what I've seen in the West, that women really don't much care when their children die. But it is because they are not women. If you are a woman, you definitely feel for your children and their death. But after some time, such a woman comes back again and she accepts the life as it is for the sake of her husband, or maybe if she has more relations or other children. She becomes extremely powerful as a reaction to what has happened. That's only possible if your center of heart is all right. Such women do not grudge, do not complain, are extremely serene and can bear up lots of things. They are extremely tolerant and can go to any extent to help their children. But they are never spoiling their children. They never spoil their children because they understand spoiling is much worse than beating the child. They never spoil their children nor ever pamper them and never get dominated by their children. They know I have to guide the child and I have to look after the child, so they look after all the ideals and righteousness and the virtues of the child. And if he tries to get out of it, they go all out to win him over, back to virtue and to better life. But those people, those women who do not care for actual growth of the child may just avoid it and escape. In the men, this chakra is caught up if they have lost their mother very early, or if their mother by chance is a very cruel woman. Also this chakra can be caught up by men if they have been to wars and if they have seen frightful things in the war. Such people could be extremely emotional and could be easily befooled by people who try to win over their emotions. This heart center is caught up by various emotional problems in human beings. Husband and wife, if they all the time quarrel, there's always quarreling in the house, especially if the mother is very dominating, the child develops this center. And if the father is very dominating, the child develops the heart itself. So it is very important that husband and wife should never quarrel in the presence of their child. Center heart can be developed in countries where there's all fear, people are frightened. It can be developed by other things by which people are frightened. Reading books of bad gurus and reading the books about shocking things, like many people who read the Kundalini book have got center heart because they are so frightened about the Kundalini. Anything that frightens you if you read can make your heart very, very weak and dangerous. So the right side of every human being represents the fatherhood. The fatherhood. And the fatherhood of a man is very important. If this center is spoiled or if there's something wrong with it, then you get asthma as a disease. Asthma is only caused by this center being spoiled or some other combinations with this center. Asthma is very common among girls and boys, and the relationship with the father or the understanding of the father or your own fatherhood is not all right, you get this trouble of asthma, and for that one has to ask the questions to the sadhakas, what sort of a father you have. And one gentleman came and asked me, why everybody is asking me what sort of a father you have, everybody asked me, what about your father, what about your father, what has my father to do with me? Actually everybody feels the right heart and they have to ask about the father, because father resides in the right heart And the principle of fatherhood, if it is spoiled, if there is a problem with the principle of fatherhood, then you get this problem and many other problems, which I do not want to discuss now at length, but you can understand a person who has no father, how diffident he is and how he behaves. And also such people, those who have not known a father, can become very wayward, licentious or permissive, or could be very much secretly licentious. The people who lose their father do not have that they lack in that discipline that the father gives them. Or could be such people who take to a very remorse and unhappy life, or they could be very hard on their children, or could be extremely kind and spoil the children. It could be anyway. So it has both the reactions, either too much of love giving or too much of strictness. It can be anything, or a person could be of this kind, may be very strict in childhood and could be extremely lavish in old age. It is a very imbalanced personality. So the person who has no father has to know that his father is Sri Rama. He should not worry about anything. He is a one, with one arrow he can kill any number of people. So he should have no fear at all about his father not being there, or father being dead, or something happening like that. On the contrary, if the father is dead, it's better to tell him not to worry about you and that you are all right, so that you leave your father in peace and ask him to take his birth than to bind him to this earth. This is the right heart, and the left heart is the mother, actually your own mother, whosoever it is. That is the motherhood, in the sense that if your mother has been extremely unkind and extremely funny, or your relationship with mother is bad, then know that there's something wrong on the left hand, which is indicated in you. So these 2 points are very important in human beings. If a Sahaja just decides that I have a father and a mother, God Almighty is my father and my mother, then these problems can be easily solved. But in Sahaja, it is not what you think that works out. It does not. Like in the car, if you sit down and think that I am going to Connaught Place, you won't move. You have to move your hands. In the same way, in Sahaja, you have to move your hands, clear your chakras, move them higher and put them on. It's not what you think is important in Sahaja, not at all. You may think that I'm doing very well in Sahaja, I'm very good, but it's not so. It is what you actually achieve, your ascent is the point. So as in the car, as I told you, you cannot just sit down and think and do the job. In the same way, you have to run this machine, and you have to see that you get all this movement. There should be gati in you. Otherwise, there is no sense in just talking about Sahaja, thinking about Sahaja, and convincing yourself that you are a great Sahaja. It is how you manifest it is the point, which very few people understand. Very, very few people understand that it has to be manifesting. It has to be karyanvit. It is not just talk morning till evening. Even when I am talking, now I am opening your heart center. I am working it. Even I am talking also, I am opening it. It's working. You will see your heart chakra is open by the time I finish my lecture. It is so, because I know how to do it. When I talk, I am just watching where the chakras are catching, what's happening, and I am catching all these points and touching it. I am trying to open it. And that's how it should be. That even when you talk, it should be karyanvit. Even when you are quiet and raising your hands, it should be karyanvit. Whatever you do, you should be karyanvit. Even if you glance at anyone, it should be karyanvit. It should not be just a kind of a jabbering that we do sometimes about Sahaja. The greatest fear human beings have, that they think they have done lots of mistakes. And these mistakes are too many, and they can never get realization. They'll be doomed, they'll be going to hell. This is not true at all. Nobody is going to go hell if you do not want to. If you want to stop it, you can stop it. The time has come. You are going to be blessed. and blessed forever. So may God bless you. Today's lecture I have given you in a way that you should understand the importance of confidence, but not by saying I am confident, because when you say outwardly you are actually egoistical. But when you say in your vibrations, then you are confident. May God bless you. Now with the another chakra on top, that is one, as he's told you the diseases, I'm telling you the positive side of it. When this chakra is caught up, he must have told you develop breast cancer and all that. But when it is awakened, you get all the security of the world. You are never insecure, you are never bothered, you have no fear of anything. You do not have to suggest yourself that you should not have any fear or anything, you just become fearless. There's nothing like fear. There is no reaction to any threat or anything. Like the gentleman who came here just to beat me, and I was just looking at the drama. And the fellow was getting frightened of me, he was going backward, he would not come forward. But you don't develop any fear at all about anyone because you are standing on truth. As I told you, I am just a woman, and I spoke openly with the names of these people and told them what they are going to do and how they are going to possess you. And people came, they were frightened, they said, what are you doing? So you get rid of all your fear, but you do not dominate anyone, you love. In your love, you are secured. It's not by domination, but the security that you are love, you are compassion, and the power of love is the highest of all, that you stand in complete peace.
That was the theme of security that comes from within. And that's the end of the session today. So would like to play a small music piece and then we can say adieu. Thank you so much for joining and wishing you a great day ahead.